welcome back to my channel. Forgive the hair, we're working today. It's supposed to be our day off, but I've decided I wanted to do a couple of things now that we have the bed set up. So you'll see all that coming in the future. But what I have is, if you remember, I hauled these under the bed storage bins for some of like my memories and things that I want to keep for now, that I'm not really ready to let go of just yet. So we're gonna have some nice, pretty neat under the bed storage. Hopefully it'll look nice because we don't have a dust ruffle, and there's like a platform that's pretty deep. So I'm pretty excited about that. I also have stuff that may or may not go on top of my dresser that I'm not sure how I'm gonna deal with it today. But I basically figured it's a good idea if I just tilt you down and get to work and do what I can with what I can. What I ultimately wanted to do is, I have a stack of 4 plastic black and white storage boxes in the craft room, as well as a blue tote with my parents, like some memories from my parents, that I wanted to also divvy up, possibly maybe get rid of some stuff, maybe put it in a box to ship to the nieces and the nephews and the brothers and sisters and stuff. So I will go ahead and try to work on that today if I can, if I'm feeling up to it. I got my fuel. You need your fuel. And let's just get started, okay? Okay. So I will tell you, I am super happy the way this project turned out. As you guys know, this is a voiceover. So this project is actually finished by the time I'm telling you this. And I actually love these bins. I am going to definitely remember to link them in the description box down below. They are the best $6 each that I think I've ever invested. I said to Jimmy, I feel like if they had some structure, like if we took foam board and made like sort of hard sides, they would be good for other things too. But for what I'm using it for, they are just fantastic. They're very sturdy. Those handles are heavy duty. We really filled these things. I'm pretty sure these things are meant to be filled with clothes and linens, but we filled them with books and memorabilia, all kinds of things. So they are just super sturdy. Currently we have 3 under our bed, 2.5 are full, but we are loving it, and we have plans for the other 1.5 coming up later in the week. So I'm really excited about that. Now, what I have in here so far is basically stuff that I had randomly left over, where there's like that plastic bag full of I don't know, like therapy books and junk journals and journals that I had written when Jim and I first met. Just like random stuff in a Ziploc bag. And then some cute little things like t-shirts that I made for him, or t-shirts that he got at Yellowstone. Just some things that we knew we wanted to keep if we ever make a t-shirt quilt or anything like that, just to have for memories. But what I decided to do was, I felt like this box needed a little bit more structure. So we actually had this blue bin already under our bed. And as I mentioned before, that these boxes could use, I feel like these boxes could use some structure. But this one is going to have like a lot of loose items. So that's why we put that plastic thing in there. But you don't have to do that. Obviously, you can just use them as is. You'll see the other 2 I use just as is. Now, you saw Jimmy just hand me that black and white plastic bin. Those are the ones I was mentioning. I got them in New York in Home Depot. My dad was still alive. That's how long ago it was. He wanted them for storage for his sort of fishing things, and because they were going to be out on display, I wanted to pick out nice ones. So what I have in one, and this one I'm going through right now, is our wedding memorabilia. As I mentioned, we have a couple of picture frames that we used as favors. We have, believe it or not, we have those little bells that like ring the bell if you want the bride and groom to kiss. But we actually also have one of our bubbles that actually still, after 20 years, has bubbles in it. It's a little like cake stacker that we hung little bells on with a little card that says to blow bubbles instead of throwing rice. I can't believe there's still bubbles in it after 20 years, but that's okay. We also have our sign-in book that I made with like handmade paper. Just a lot of things. My nephews, I gave them all, they're not called sandwich boards back in the olden days, but like what the 3 Musketeers, like an over tunic, would wear with my family crest on it. Pardon. And they had bells. Each one had 2 bells in their hands, and they kind of led me down the aisle with bells. And then our cake serving set that we got. That's my little bride headpiece that my sister got me from my shower. I also wore it at my bachelorette. You know, just have to be dolled up. Everybody needs to know who the bride to be is. The other things we have are a box. We had a box from our honeymoon that also is fitting in here. So we have stuff that was in the blue tote that's there. We had stuff from our wedding, stuff from our honeymoon. It's all fitting in this one box. Basically, a ton of storage is what I'm trying to say. I know, it's crazy. This is our wedding video. We actually never got it digitized or edited. My cousin was so sweet to just film whatever she could. We actually didn't do professional photographer. Well, my friend Bobby took our professional pictures, but we didn't get a professional videographer. She just took some videos and shot it for us, and I'm so grateful. Colleen, if you're watching, thank you so much for my little wedding video. Jim and I haven't watched it in 20 years, and we realized that we still have the camcorder. We could probably hook it up to the computer or the TV and try to watch it. So that's fun. That's something we planned on doing. Jim and I are celebrating 21 years on August 5th, and I just realized that we should probably do one of those how we met videos you guys have been asking for years and years, and we could talk a little bit about our wedding and our honeymoon, and how gracious we were that all of our families and friends stepped up to help us out to basically have the wedding of our dreams. So I wanted to show a little bit of how easy, I mean, it's super heavy, so it wasn't really easy, but how easy they do slide under the bed once you can get it down there. And when we're done, as I mentioned earlier, when we're done decorating the room and everything, I'll show you them off during the room tour. Right now, Jimmy has stuffed that one all the way towards the headboard, just so we can get all of the things done that we need under the bed. We have these little rubber feet stoppers that I realized we forgot to put in the middle of the frame, which we need. My thought was, well, we don't need them because we don't need the mattress, the frame won't move around, but technically I bought those to protect the floor, so we need them in the middle. So we're just talking now about what's the best way, where's the best place to put them, and he's explaining to me why he thinks just shove them back there for now so we can get the rest of the work done. Okay, so now I'm going to move on to the second one. Now the second one, I had 4 of these black and white boxes. One said wedding memorabilia, one said honeymoon, one said Adam's family, which is my maiden name, and then one was my childhood memories. So what we're going to do is just kind of combine whatever we can. I'm going to take the Adams family stuff. I think I'm going to put it in with my parents. I don't remember exactly if that's what I did, but memorabilia from my parents from that blue box, which I have to tell you in a little story time is a little bittersweet. So I'm doing this voiceover, and this was recorded 2 days before my brother's birthday. So today is my brother Rob's birthday in the next life that he's got, whether it be in heaven as he chose, or if he chose, or wherever he is, no longer on this earth. So it's a very emotional day, and I actually went through things of my parents. This was my dad's wallet, pretty much intact when he passed away. I basically put it in this box, and put it in here, just because I like to keep that kind of stuff together. I actually had my mom's exactly like that. My mom always put things in her bra, like her identification. She used to keep all of her identification wrapped together in a rubber band and in her bra. I mean, that's just the way she was. And when she passed away, I had that, and I had it in a memory box that got destroyed in the flood. So it just, I look at my dad's and I remember my mom's, and that's the way it goes. This really, really funky old cigar box was what my dad always kept in his car, whatever car he had. He basically kept it in the center, before they had center consoles. It is just a random variety of things. It used to just be, he would keep extra lures, a couple of tools, extra flints for his lighter, extra lighter fluid, that kind of thing, for when he used to smoke. He would just keep that kind of stuff. My father was an Eagle Scout and was always prepared for anything. Jim says, "Why is your pocketbook always so big?" I'm like, I got that from my dad. I was never an Eagle Scout, but he always said, be prepared for anything. So I had taken the box. It was about half empty by the time when he passed away, and I just put some random things of his in there that I wanted to keep, that reminded me of us, him and I. And we had all of my brothers and sisters had very unique relationships with my parents. So I kept the things that I felt like reminded me of my dad. What I have here, and I'm going to take a few minutes to go through, and I'll tell you guys some story times, is I have my mom's 2 yearbooks. My mom got her GED after she was a sophomore. I think she started her junior year, but never completed it because of having, to work. It was a different time back then. She was a very amazing woman. We've mentioned this lots of times. But I always knew she was in the orchestra when she was a sophomore, but I never realized that she was on the basketball team when she was a freshman. I will hold it up to the camera every once in a while to show you that we kind of like destroyed these things when we were little. We didn't really have a lot of coloring books and crayons, so we took like books like this and we took pens to them, and there's actually like a figure drawing in there. I'm pretty sure I did. But it means so much to me to be able to go through it. I offer or I implore my sisters next time they come, just take a look into these. I'm actually kind of really glad that I've consolidated into one bag that we can pull out and just look at whenever somebody comes to visit. We could just take a walk down memory lane. That striped box that's in that cardboard box. So this cardboard box is an old shoe box that my mom had. Basically, she would keep cards in. So cards she got when we were all babies. I think everybody pretty much has got their baby cards. But then cards that she had, my mother had her first heart attack in January of 1991 and was home about the 13th of February. She finally got released from the cardiac care unit from the hospital, and she came home right before Valentine's Day. So we had a lot of really sentimental Valentine's Day cards for her, for like, your heart and you're glad you're home and that kind of thing. So those are in there. Just things like that. My father's last birthday, his cards are in there. It just a lot of things that are really mean something to me. And again, if they don't mean anything to you, that's fine. If you don't have any need to hold on to stuff like this, that's okay too. For me, it's just important. I actually was just talking to Lisa about this, about how different we are with everybody's different with the type of sentiment, the type of things that they're sentimental about, or the type of way they like to honor people of the past. But I said to her, we were very rough on our things. My mother came from nothing. My father's father had a little bit of a gambling problem after my grandmother passed away. He basically got rid of whatever he could, sold what he could. My father got very little of his mom's, and when his dad died, he had very little at the time. So it's just like we don't have a lot of stuff from the past, and I do wish we could go back and change that. So that's why I like to hold on to things. I know that sounds crazy, or I like to keep memories for the future generations. That was me showing you that my dad graduated from high school with Bernie Madoff, the famous Ponzi scheme guy. He's in the yearbook there. But now I'm going to look at where my dad is in the yearbook. And yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of partial. He was pretty handsome back then. But I personally have never seen my father's face shaven. I hear it was till I was about 4 or 5 years old. He had no beard, just a mustache. But ever since then, he grew his beard. I never saw his chin. And he passed away when I was going to be 40. So in 40 years, he never saw his chin. So, but these kinds of things they mean something to me. And to me, it's important to pass it on to future generations. I don't keep all of the junk. People think you keep all of the junk, but I don't keep all of the junk. I keep the things that I feel like mean something. Now, is there some things that I keep because I don't think they might not mean anything to me, but they might mean something to my brother or my sister in the future? Possibly. They might mean more to them, which it's okay. But for now, I didn't keep anything that I just felt like I could get rid of. I made sure everybody had something when we moved and when we went through dad's stuff, whatever anybody wanted to take, please. And yeah. So my mom, if you're interested, went to Stella Maris High School in Far Rockaway Beach, and my father went to Far Rockaway High School. My father graduated in 56, and my mom would have graduated in 60. But yeah, she was at 56, 57, 58, 50, or maybe 59. No, I guess 60, but her yearbooks, 57 and 58 are her two yearbooks that she has. So she would have graduated in 60. But anyway, it's just, like I said, they just mean something to me. I found a book, a red composition, like a red loose leaf book there that my dad actually started to write some fish stories in. And they mean a lot to me too. I just flipped through them. This is a brochure from The Sound of Music at Jones Beach Theater, which is famous for Guy Lombardo's used to have his concerts there. I think they broadcast them on television. But my parents felt like they wanted to keep it. It was sentimental to them. So who am I after all these years to get rid of it just because it doesn't mean as much to me? It might mean something to somebody someday. So I keep that. And yeah, I mean, some of the things, I will tell you the truth, I really just kept because my mom kept them. And if she felt it was important enough to keep, she wasn't a huge pack rat. She had a shoebox and a little drawer full of things that she thought were important, wedding invitations and baby announcements and that kind of thing. She didn't keep everything. I have these two newspapers here. One of them is my father's obituary newspaper, and one is my mom's. And then in this envelope is basically some stuff that my sister had sent my dad. So I have that in there, cards and letters and stuff that the kids drew and wrote. So I want to make sure they get that someday, maybe like their wedding or something. And then these are just cards we're going through. They were, like I said, my father's last Father's Day, my father's last birthday, when he turned 71. His last Father's Day, he was actually 70. This is him graduating from middle school. Or elementary school. He was very proud to announce to people that he was the first non-Catholic to graduate from St. Francis de Sales Elementary School in Far Rockaway. Again, I think it's in Far Rockaway. Could be in Rockaway Beach, but I think it's in Far Rockaway. They're very close together, so. There he is on his fishing boats, doing things with fish. So I miss him. I miss him a lot. Father's Day just came and went, and Mother's Day came and went, and all these times do bring up just memories of good times when they were here. And one of the things that I found interesting that I didn't realize about myself was when I was getting married, my sister Jane, thank you Jane, wrote in my card that Mommy would be so proud of me, and I actually got very emotional because I didn't realize how important that was to me to make my parents proud. So as I go through these things, I wondered, is that something I'm still achieving? Am I making my parents proud? Hopefully that's my goal. Anyhow, so I'm just going through all the things and trying to organize it, fishing trophies and cards and letters, as I mentioned. That little striped box there is when my father graduated from 6th grade. It was one of those little autographs books that we had all the way up until I was in middle school. Basically, by hook or by crook, I'll be the last person to sign your book. You write that on the last page. Or by hook or by crook, I'll be the first person to sign your, so whatever it was. Too good to be forgotten. You use the math equation, 2 plus 2 is 4. So you put too good to be forgotten. Just those kinds of kooky, crazy things. They basically did that back in the 50s, and we were still doing it in the 80s. So I just thought that was very interesting. Yeah. So this is just me organizing this one box. So basically, that is a 18-gallon tote from Sterilite. Actually, this is one Rubbermaid. No, this is Sterilite. And I managed to get everything plus in this bag that's 26 by 22 by 6 inches. This, like, there's paperwork, there's boxes, there's books. There's these 2 boxes here towards the bottom where basically when you go to someone's funeral and you sign the book saying that you were there, that's basically the condolence book, I guess you would call it. Those, one for my parent, one for my mom, and 2 for my mom and 1 for my dad. And then, just things like that. Just want to keep them. They mean something to me. And I look at them even if it's every 3 years when I go organize the boxes. I don't care. Every 3 years I'll walk down memory lane. Okay. So now I have some, this is an old church bulletin, one from when I was 4. And it just lots of my father's famous red hats. My father, red was his favorite color too, and he always wore a red baseball hat in the summertime, very specific. He needed to get a red baseball hat with a green underbrim with adjustable back, but all cotton. It can't have that mesh stuff back there. And then he wore a red wool hat in the wintertime, so he always made sure he had a red hat. You could find Pete wherever he was. And these are some vacuum sealed t-shirts from my father was in a fishing club that had a shark tournament, a famous Long Island shark tournament every year. And he would get a new t-shirt as the uniform. My father was an exceptional man at everything he focused on. And what his job was at the tournament was not only to be a judge for weights and measures, his job was to fillet the shark. It's basically what it was. He would cut the jaw out for the taxidermist if the person wanted. He would fillet the shark. They weren't allowed to give the fins away because it was illegal. They had to give them only to like the conservationist because there was like a black market thing for fins. It was just really cool. He was really good at it. I feel like I want to find some pictures and just insert them wherever, but I got everything from theirs as well as from their box in to this memory bag, and I'm pretty impressed by myself. So there is that. The last box we have left is just the one more black and white box of my childhood memories. There are some other things that I have like in the room that I wanted to put in with the childhood memories as well, but for the most part we're just going to go ahead and empty out that black and white box. Now these black and white boxes I will keep to organize stuff in the craft room. Pretty sure that's where I said it. We were deciding that we would use them because they're really nice. They don't seal, like the lid just sits on top, so they can't be airtight if you need anything to be airtight. This isn't a good fit for it, but I do love them the way they stack. I actually wish I could like search the worldwide interwebs to find some more because they were really nice and they were very inexpensive. When I actually bought them, they had 6 boxes and 8 lids. Don't ask me why. But since I've lost 2 of the boxes to the storm, they were on the bottom. They had tools in them, and the tools basically cracked and rotted out the boxes. So these are my childhood memories. I have photographs. There also, as I started to go through it, realized that there are some grown-up memories. These are pictures that I had taken when I took a photography class, and I used to shoot pictures with my friend Bobby. He was basically a better teacher than the photography class teacher, I'm just saying. So I put together like a quote-unquote a portfolio. I have it on my Facebook pictures, as well as I have a Pinterest board, which you can just search my name in Pinterest. You'll find me. But I don't have that linked in the description box down below. But I just have some pictures that I just loved, and I got them printed. Captured some really good moments. I love light. Like, I know a lot of photographers love light. I just love light. So that's what this is. And then I realized that it's not just childhood memories. It's adult memories too. So I went ahead and I put everything that I could in there. One of the things that I thought would fill up this box a little bit better, besides just random photographs, and I have t-shirts. The t-shirts from, where are these t-shirts from? One is from This is from camp, when I went to camp, summer camp. One is from the band. One is from Hands Across America, but I made my own because I was poor. One is a Red Champion t-shirt when I learned how to, I practiced airbrushing on because I learned how to do airbrush. And the last one is one I made for the band, my marching band that I was in. And they mean something to me, so I'm keeping them, you know. Then I have lots of different random, that happens to be, my school creates a, a, a book, or did in high school, when I was in high school. They basically, it was called Ink Blot, and it was people's random poems or stories, and then the art classes would get them and make coordinating artwork based on the story. And I was in one. I had a story called The Dive, and I made one of my very abstract figures, the faceless things. If you watched my organization videos from a couple of weeks ago, I showed you my Madonna of the wax, that she looked like she had a very faceless head, and that's sort of like the way that I like to go. I like those clean lines and stuff. Then I have some cards, and I started to realize I had birthday cards in here. So what I thought of was my correspondence box. So basically, every time you guys send me a letter or a present, I keep the thank you cards. I keep all of the little notes that you send me. Anytime you send me a card or anything, it goes in this box. We take the envelope and we transcribe the address, because hopefully someday I wish to have thank yous sent out because that's my goal. So what I have in here is basically everything. Christmas cards that you guys sent, all the correspondence you guys sent. Of course, my friends and family too, but mostly it's just from my YouTube family. And it's in this old FabFitFun box, and it's pretty full. I mean, I could organize it a little bit better, and I'm going to try to organize it a little bit better here, because we just basically pile it. But I know that if we organize it a little bit better, I have a couple of pictures from when my nieces from school, because at the time I couldn't find my big folder, and the picture frames that I used to put them in all had gotten lost in the flood. So I basically didn't have any place to actually keep them at the moment. But there's a picture of my niece Faith, Louise, and Abigail. You guys met Abigail before. All right. And that's what we decided to do. So we're just going to put all of these correspondence in here and save them with memories. And then when we're ready to, go through them, and I'm feeling maybe I'm having a blue day, I can open the box and start reading about all the love you guys give me. Yeah, so that's it. So another reason I like the Fit Fab Bun box, like the blue box we used before, is that it will give a little bit of structure to this bag, which is good. Like I said, this bag isn't going to be full anyway. So we're going to go ahead and put my t-shirts in there, and then all of my art and pictures, and I have my portfolio over by the bed, which I think I want to get a new portfolio box for. Then Jimmy and I were starting to talk about maybe most of my artwork would fit in one of these. So we'll figure it out for sure. And of course, we'll always take you along as we go on our journey of memories and purging and discovering and organizing and cleaning and all the things. So what I decided to have Jim move all this stuff so we could slide it and put this one on that side. The original plan was 2 on each side and 1 on each end. I don't know exactly if that will work, or if we're going to do that. We might do 3 on each side. That's one of the reasons why Jim is just basically sticking them under there for now, so we can figure out exactly what we end up using and what we're going to need to store. So, yeah, you'll see in future videos how I'm going to do the linens from the guest room, the tertiary guest room. Basically, we have that click-clack sofa has its own linens for if we ever have somebody need to come and crash here. So that's what we'll have in the future. Okay, so stay tuned for all of the things to come. So as you guys could tell, I implored Jim to help me, and he was a huge help. Really, really a huge help. I didn't realize how difficult it was going to be to get in and out of this bed from the sit-up position. I have trouble getting in it. I had trouble getting in the old bed, but I knew that I could do it. This is like I'm sunk in here, and it was really difficult to get on, much more difficult to get on. So the fact that I didn't have to keep getting off was a godsend. So thanks, honey. I will try to get a picture where you have stuff that's in the guest room that needs to go into the fourth bin, linens and stuff for the tertiary couch. Guest room bed, but Lisa's in there resting, so we're gonna get it maybe later tomorrow, and then I'll share it with you when it's all done and we made the bed. I'll show you what it looks like underneath. So I love you guys. If I don't film that last portion, I will definitely film the end portion for you, and if it's not in this video, it will be in the room tour video. So if you have any questions, you know what to do, and the liking and the sharing and the subscribing and all that's all up to you, but it really does help out my channel. And if you haven't yet, click subscribe and all that stuff too. And as always, you guys take care. God bless. I'll see you next time. Bye.